And you've returned back to commentary. They're giving you a workout here at TV. You're up, you're down, you're talking about Sizzling Summer Bash. You're reminding the fans what a tremendous show it's going to be and all the things we've heard about. Kyle Matthews either defending the title or getting a chance to go after the title, but either way, the catch fault's involved. That tag match with Doc and AJ Steele on the other side, J-Rod Murder One. They seem pretty confident. You just announced a #1 contender match. Johnny Swinger, former WWE superstar, against Micah Taylor. Micah spent some time, had a cup of coffee in WWE also. No slouch there. It's getting crazy. Mike Posey's going to defend that television title. I think Drew Adler might be the opponent there.
You know, Rampage Pro Wrestling and the changes that are taking place, Bill, just another day at the office, I guess.
And you know what we're going to find out right now is who faces the Cash Vault, the tag team champions at Sizzling Summer Bash, because this is a #1 contender match.
Hot Like Lava, been around Rampage Pro Wrestling since its inception. These two, quite a history here, Rampage Pro Wrestling. I mean, in my early days here, first couple episodes of television, when I was hanging out at Johnny G's Fun Center before, I had the honor and privilege of seeing them in action many a time. And
whoa, wait. Chip Day on his way to the ring, taking Bobby Moore with the belt right behind him. Day is already down, and Corey Hollis,
what just happened here?
Going to the back, trying to get Bobby Moore and all the way out from behind. I guess this match has already started. Bell hasn't rung. Referees are out here trying to figure out what's going on.
Scheduled.
Thrown into the ring now, Chip Day.
Hot Like Lava versus Corey Hollis and Chip Day.
Do we have a match? Referee? Not sure what's going to happen. Could it be a 2-on-1 situation as it is right now? Could this match become official? I'm not sure.
Right now, Corey Hollis, I don't know if we've got a match yet at this point. Dee Byers trying to get a little bit of control here in this situation.
How can
Drop
Corey
kick,
Hollis?
I've seen something like that before, and it's pretty phenomenal.
But how can Corey Hollis keep up with both men? Both members of Hot Like Lava going to town on Corey Hollis. I don't know if we've got it. There we go. The bell sounds. Starting to count the man out.
Dee Byers finally reluctantly calling for the bell in this, what has become, I guess, a 2-on-1 match. Chip Day taken down. I don't know how severely injured he was. Bobby Moore, of course, one half of the Cash Vault. Bobby Moore could well be the heavyweight champion by the end of the night. It looks to be that kind of domination. But now Hot Like Lava, who were beaten by Chip Day and Corey Hollis in the Rampage Cup tournament, look like they're trying to get a little bit of revenge. You know what? It was just a week or two ago that in a match teaming with Slim J came out to help him out. So you never know what's going on with Crew Jones, but Jones was able to pin one of the Cash Vault members in that particular match. So he has a pinfall victory, at least as a tagging with someone else. So I guess he has some bragging rights to having this opportunity for a #1 contender match.
I'm glad one of us can keep this whole thing in place.
I'm trying. I'm doing the best I can here. Kids, if you got a scorecard at home, try to keep up with us.
Into the back there of Corey Hollis, Shawn Banks.
Ooh, drop kick to the back solidly after forcing those arms back. Pulls him in one direction just to knock him in the other. Again, that whiplash effect we spoke about in last week's episode.
How about that tag?
That's not really a tag, but if it's allowed by the referee, it's all well and good. I've always hated the foot tag. I'm not a fan of the foot tag.
Don't see it very often, but specialist at the foot tag is one Shawn Banks here at Rampage Pro Wrestling.
Banks, a specialist at many things if you allow him to tell you. Up and, whoa, beautifully elevated drop kick by Corey Hollis gains him an opportunity right here. Fans are starting to get behind young Corey Hollis. In his first year of professional wrestling, the Georgia Rookie of the Year, runner-up Rookie of the Year, Pro Wrestling Illustrated, amateur wrestling background he brings into the ring, but also brings a tremendous disadvantage in this particular match, 2-on-1 against two of the best at Rampage Pro Wrestling. Of course, Shawn Banks, a former Rampage Pro Wrestling heavyweight champion.
Corey Hollis needs a partner. There's no doubt about it in my mind, Bill. The fans can't be his partner. He needs someone on that apron reaching for the tag to give him a little bit of help here in this match.
Yeah, that's a slingshot. That bottom rope made not of rope itself, actually steel cable inside that. Unforgiving on the throat of Corey Hollis. And now they go back into a double team, which is permissible within the 5 count.
In and out tags there by the team, Hot Like Lava.
Oh, and Shawn Banks thinks about going over and no, decides the barrel.
Chop there by Corey Hollis to Crew Jones.
Well, Hollis is not going to give up in this particular match. A lot of fight in this young man who has been all over the world. By the way, teams frequently with Mike Posey in Ring of Honor Wrestling had their first victory against the Dirty Rotten Scoundrels at the last television tapings for Ring of Honor. So starting to get recognition all over the United States, and it all started right here at Rampage Pro Wrestling.
Well-traveled, and many of our young athletes here, wrestlers at Rampage Pro Wrestling, get their feet wet and move on.
Very much so, and with Chip Day traveling all over the Southeast, were champions recently in the state of North Carolina. But they're in here against a veteran tag team. Crew Jones, been in the industry for give or take a decade, trained by Jason Cross years back. Initially started as the all-star in professional wrestling, transitioned into the current incarnation. Crew Jones, Shawn Banks, of course, I consider pound to pound one of the best wrestlers in the state of Georgia, quite literally.
Tag team specialist. Yeah, I was walking by in the locker room. They had a book they were reading up on old school wrestling tag teams. They do their research. They learn from the veterans of the past.
I don't really believe reading is involved. They just like the pictures.
The pictures? Is that what it? Okay, well, the black and white photos there.
Solid boot, then a knee to the face of Corey Hollis. Dee Byers doing his best to try to keep this as one-on-one as possible with this disadvantage, but within the 5 count, there's only so much, and Shawn Banks demonstrating his upper body physique to Dee Byers, who didn't look that impressed.
Corey Hollis still has no partner. I know there's got to be a lot of guys in the locker room watching this thing.
Well, you got to remember, these two young men have not quite been fan favorites for a long period of time. Walked down a darker path and a bad association here at Rampage Pro Wrestling. Have had a lot of recent success by becoming a bit more autonomous, but they haven't made friends in the process. Mike Posey, last we saw him, he was running away from one of the guys they betrayed, Patrick Bentley, who has seemed to have a personality issue at this point and has become quite literally bent.
Who knows where those men are at this point? I mean, they ran right out of the building, as you mentioned, and hadn't seen them since.
Solid kick right there to the chest, forcing the breath out of Corey Hollis. They take him back down again, hitting the ropes, and there right to the same basic area with the elbow. Repeated blows to the chest. Hard to get a breath of air in when they're constantly doing those attacks to the chest, forcing the air out of you. It's like if you fall down, they'll knock the wind out of you. If you've ever had the wind knocked out of you and how that feels, just the panic that you have at that moment, the inability to breathe.
Must catch his breath here at some point in time.
Full Nelson elevated.
Do so.
With the strength of Crew Jones, this could well knock out young Corey Hollis because it cuts off blood flow to the brain. But Hollis able to force, but there, Jones with his strength retains the move, has to break it finally, but Hollis still in a bad way at this time. Tried to get some distance between himself and Jones, but that seems to be impossible as Jones is literally stalking his man.
Still to come later on this broadcast, Kyle Matthews defends the heavyweight championship. The gold is on the line against Bobby Moore. Of course, Charlie Cash will be at ringside. That's still to come on this very edition of Rampage Pro Wrestling.
Dee Byers gets Crew Jones out, delays the count, and that delay was extremely valuable there because I think Corey Hollis was as close to being defeated there as at any time in this particular match, but back to his feet, but only to get picked up and side slam again by Shawn Banks. Cover, grabs the leg, only a 2 count. Corey Hollis fighting back over just tremendous odds in this particular match.
Team of Hot Like Lava out here going to town on Corey Hollis is Shawn Banks. Where is Corey Hollis's partner?
Well, injured is what I'm guessing.
Could we get some kind of word?
And I got to wonder if, God forbid, if Hollis is able to somehow survive this match and he wins and becomes for his team the #1 contender, will Chip Day be able to even make it into that match? Oh. Snaps the arm hard down and now goes after that arm again. Now they've decided to, after the chest, but now focusing on the arm. Just piece by piece, they're destroying young Corey Hollis here.
Bill, the Sizzling Summer Bash is on August 26th, live in person.
In fact, if you're watching this on Fox 24, it's tomorrow.
Fun Center is what it's all about. Get here and be a part of it live tomorrow. Of course, if you're watching this after the fact, then, well.
And fans, you never know what's going to happen at the live events, and some of the things at the live events you're not going to be able to see on television. That's just the harsh reality of the situation. We run out of time.
Oh,
we've only got an hour.
Is this television time, especially for those performers in the ring each week, to showcase their talents to an international audience? And
right to the top of the head.
Many promoters across the country watch this very program and call upon many of our Rampage Pro Wrestling superstars to be a part of events on a worldwide basis.
Hollis still manages to kick out, but now literally being stalked from behind by Jones, taking his time. He knows he's got this young man compromised. Wonders where Chip is. Well, Chip's hurt. Cover again. I don't know how much longer Corey Hollis can continue to take this abuse. Move after move, blow after blow.
Crew Jones frustrated, to say the least, at the count of the referee. I would think he would have the man beat at this point, especially 2-on-1 attack. And, well, young Corey Hollis, this Lion is just continuing to fight and fight for his life.
You know, interestingly, in the finals of the Rampage tournament, Kyle Matthews ended up having to go at that match alone when his scheduled partner did not appear here at Rampage Pro Wrestling. Matthews, 2-on-1 against Corey Hollis, and Chip Day fought a valiant fight, and he was unsuccessful. And now the tide has turned, and now it's Corey Hollis with the exact same situation and advantage on the opposite side. So Hollis benefited once by the 2-on-1 scenario, and now he's suffering at the hands of him.
What a match we're seeing here, even though it's 2-on-1 still. Shawn Banks showing why he's one, many say in the state of Georgia, one of the very best athletes.
Look at what he's doing, just forcing the bone of the elbow right into the joint of the arm. And now the knee down in that area. Corey Hollis has done a lot of ring work, a lot of gym work. You can tell by looking at his upper body physique, but there's no amount of work you can do on musculature that's going to protect you from breaking a bone.
You're putting your life at risk anytime you step inside that.
Whoa, but a reversal out of nowhere by Hollis. I don't know where he had the strength for that, and he really doesn't have the strength for that.
Right into the foot of Shawn Banks.
And now ducks that one, goes behind, throws Banks. Banks right into the post. Here comes Jones. He's caught, knee. Hollis, I don't know where the energy's coming from. They call it a second wind. But with the second wind usually comes failure, usually comes exhaustion, and that's where Hollis is now, but he's got both men down and compromised. Banks' shoulder smashed into the post. Crew Jones is down, and for the first time late in the match, Hollis has an opportunity, but look at that left arm numb at his side, and he's fighting with that right all alone, one-armed against Shawn Banks. 3 chops in a row. Now he grabs a hold of him, but reversed by Banks. Forearm.
Wow, Corey Hollis just out of nowhere. Like you mentioned, the second wind, he's got it here, and he's not stopping. Look at
snap suplex, takes him over, float, but slow. Cover, doesn't hook the leg, should have, only a 2 count.
So close.
Now, amateur wrestling background coming into play as he's hooked him from behind. Has him what could be a submission at this point. Crew Jones finally making it back up into the corner.
Corey Hollis victorious against 2 men here on Rampage Pro Wrestling.
Arm dragged through, and he nearly wrenched the arm off of Corey Hollis in the process, and now double team. They're both in simultaneously within the 5 count. Takes down Corey Hollis hard. Hollis tried to roll through on it, but wasn't able to avoid. Oh, and he is. Amazing. I thought that was it right there, Dan.
Our live crowd just loving every second of this action-packed program of Rampage Wrestling. Barely kicks out, but he does so, and this match continues here.
Now tags Crew Jones in as he's already in the ring. But now, round and round you go. This is normally a finished setup for them, and he was able to reverse it by utilizing strength and leverage. Now Hollis with a back elbow, gets elevated, goes behind, has Banks hooked, and it's again submission on Shawn Banks. Will Shawn Banks tap at this point in this 2-on-1 encounter? Banks looks like he's prepared to tap.
Hollis has to know it's now or never.
But no, Jones recovers. Dee Byers telling him he's not. I don't know, Byers seems to be losing control of this particular encounter. Flipped through by Hollis, but he isn't able to catch it. If he tries for the back elbow, there's only so long he can fight alone. Takes him down. And that's it right there. What a tremendous heart shown by young Corey Hollis in this 2-on-1 match. But hot like lava. One of the best here at Rampage Pro Wrestling, and they proved it here tonight. They are the #1 contenders.
Only a matter of time, and yes, #1 contenders stand victorious, their hands raised, hot like lava. Crew Johnson, Shawn Banks, and more Rampage Wrestling's on its way, including that main event heavyweight championship match. Kyle Matthews defends in mere moments, Bill. That's on its way next.